Well, the St. Louis County Heritage and Arts Center, commonly called the Depot, has a new director tasked with improving management and operations at the facility. The hiring came after 18 months of study by a subcommittee appointed by the St. Louis County Board. The board created the new Depot director position to improve operations and management at the facility. Joining us now is Mary Tennis, director of the St. Louis County Heritage and Arts Center, and Brian Fritzinger is the Deputy St. Louis County Administrator and a member of the Depot Subcommittee. Thanks to both of you for being here. Well, Mary, you've got a background in arts and in the business. What made you a good fit? Why did you even apply for this job?
Something about the job just spoke to me right off the bat. My experience is working with a small business that became kind of large. We went from 5 employees to 50. In the 18 years that I was employed there, Northern Water Smokehouse in Canal Park. And what I really enjoyed about the job was facilitating a lot of different folks towards a common goal. So I know that that is part of my task here as the director. And I've also been involved with the Duluth Public Arts Commission for the past several years. I'm currently the president. And so being able to facilitate, to move, to grow any of our wonderful local arts programming is just, it's a dream come true for me, really.
Brian, now this was a newly created position. What made the county decide that there was really a need for a director at the Depot?
Well, the county has over quite a few years had a number of different studies that were completed for the Depot, and consistently they talked about different ways to try to address some of the overarching management and marketing aspects of it. The committee, again, kind of dug in real deep, met with all the tenants, spent a lot of time really taking a look at those old studies and analyzing different options. We have, over the last 6-8 years, worked with a private contractor to act as our manager. With some good results, but we really felt that there was some greater opportunity to move this in a direction. And so the idea really was to kind of get a first-time staff person and move us down and take us to that next level of helping our tenants and seeing some real success down here.
Brian, do you have some plans already for marketing the Depot? And I would imagine that marketing is a pretty big part of what needs to be done.
The marketing is a huge aspect of it. One of the things that came from a few years before even I started, there was some visioning that took place with the tenants. And one of the things they talked about back then was really the need to really step up on some of the broader collaborative efforts on the marketing that currently weren't taking place at that time. Right now there is no specific plan on the marketing side. That's really what we've brought Mary on board with to help us and help the tenants kind of get that vision. But clearly it was a need to try to see how we could utilize this facility without all of St. Louis County and all of the city here and really take some things on that can move us in a different direction.
Mary, talk about some of the tenants who are in the building, and it seems like they come from some pretty different perspectives. Thoughts on how you start herding the cats?
Well, they're not cats. They're extremely talented, organized, driven, and powerful organizations.
Good.
And they are, they're very diversified. There's some that have historical interests. There's some that have, more contemporary interests. We've got the Duluth Art Institute. We have the Playhouse. We have the Underground Theater. We have the St. Louis County Historical Society. We have, of course, the Lake Superior, Scenic Railroad and Train Museum. So, these are all enormous assets. Bringing them together, I mean, they all want the same thing, which is a well-run, beautiful, welcoming facility for all the visitors of St. Louis County and beyond. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just talking to all of them and getting their input, because they really have a wealth of information and they have some really good ideas, and kind of putting those together to form that plan to go forward.
Maybe the two of you can chime in on this one. What would it mean for the Depot if there is indeed passenger service between the Twin Ports and the Twin Cities again?
Well, I think the idea of the NLX to get that service back to this area again, the broader we can get attendance and folks that come through the community and through the region, and this being the funnel point for that, I think is just a huge benefit to the region. The depot itself, we have a number, as Mary has indicated, of the tenants and the activities they're doing. And the more we can supplement that with some additional bodies that are coming through and taking advantage of it and exposing them to the broader area, we just think is a great benefit if we can get the NLX to come through.
Mm-hmm.
Will some of your promotion be to the broader area, even now, before there's any possibility of train service?
We don't know yet. You know,
Okay.
we're just building that. I've been on the job for 5 days. This is this is day 5, and so you know, we need to circle the wagons and talk about that. We already do some advertising, of course, down towards the cities, and we do some on the Iron Range, but we don't have the facts of the marketing plan in place.
Mm-hmm. As you look at the depot kind of from a fresh perspective, do you see a lot of areas where you think it's being underutilized right now, where there's room for growth or room for some exciting new programs?
Absolutely. The Great Hall, although there have been several exhibits and there are annual festivals and events that are successful there, it still isn't always in use. And so that is an area of great interest to me and to the county.
I think the Great Hall, when you look at space needs within the community and the region in terms of large meeting spaces, it's an asset that there's not a lot of like that. And I think the previous years, they've done some good jobs utilizing it with different aspects for the weddings and other things that bring people in. But looking for some broader consistency in how do we use that as the large facility that is and make people aware that it's available.
The depot is obviously a gem in downtown Duluth. Is there any space within the depot itself to broaden the clientele? How many different services and programs are available in the depot now? It seems like you're full.
The facility itself, when you actually look at the space, is fully occupied. Every nook and cranny either has storage from the existing tenants or tenants that are utilizing it. So it's not a facility really designed for us to take and rent out more space. I think over time, again, we have a good tenant mix right now, but we always want to be making sure we're looking at that mix and making sure that everybody is working on the same page toward this broader gem, as you indicate, that, and make it what we can make it into.
Mm-hmm. I understand that the county's top bonding request for 2020 is expected to be some funding to do some preservation and maintenance at the depot. What are the projects that really need to be done that you see?
Well, when you look at the depot, it's obviously a building that is of an age that is always in need of maintenance and repair, and really just keeping track of the things that are slowly kind of aging. One of the major pieces right now from a maintenance side is just the HVAC system, the air circulation in the facility, the heating, air conditioning, those sorts of things are the big ones. We also have continual kind of challenges with water in the building, both from a roof standpoint as well as leakage through walls and floors. And so we know there's a lot of things like that that we have to address through that standpoint. The bonding request that we've made this time also does include a secondary project, which is working with the Lake Superior Railroad Museum on a new concept, a model train display that they have. And so there's a portion of those dollars that would allow for some expansion in the building to accommodate that as well.
Well, sounds like you've got some big plans ahead. You're just beginning, so all the best to you. And thank you, Mary and Brian, both for being here tonight.
Thanks
you
for
much.
having us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good.